we define ourselves. As male, female, agender, trans, we can probably all agree that this is not the only identity which defines us. I identify as a woman, but cannot assume that my experience of womanhood will be shared with every other woman on the planet. Other identities also contribute to my experience of the world and my position in it. As a white, non-disabled, cis woman, Norwegian, left-leaning, fashion academic, mother, daughter, older sister. Some of these identities I've chosen, but most of them I have from sheer accident of birth. Some of my identities come with inherent privileges, others with restrictions. Because I'm white, Western, heterosexual, my overwhelming position is one of privilege, albeit with a regular dose of sexism. But that privilege comes an obligation to examine the benefits bestowed on me against the limitations bestowed on others. In the 1960s and 70s, we saw the rise of second-wave feminism and women's rights movement, which led a new generation of feminists to articulate a sense of shared experience in the face of patriarchy. However, what many feminist campaigners, writers, and academics were blind to was that female identity and lived experience is also profoundly shaped by other identities. A number of Black feminist thinkers and activists came to argue that their experience of womanhood and the types of oppression they faced were also inherently shaped by structural racism and the ideology of white supremacy. The classic essay by self-described Black lesbian mother, warrior poet, Audre Lorde, I've included in this week's learning materials, The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House, articulates this. She concludes her essay with these powerful words, and in the seminar this week, I want us to explore this idea further, how it relates to our personal lives, but also our practice as designers. Racism and homophobia are real conditions of all our lives in this time and place. I urge each one of us to reach down into that deep place of knowledge inside herself and touch that terror and loathing of any difference that lives there. See whose face it wears. Then the personal as the political can begin to illuminate all our choices. So for this week, I also want you to watch the excellent TED Talk by the academic Kimberlé Crenshaw, who coined the term intersectionality in the early 1980s to articulate these issues. For too long, the fashion industry has, to use Crenshaw's term, framed the fashion consumer as young, white, female, slim, able-bodied, and of course heterosexual. This image of the normative fashion consumer not only ignores the majority of us who fall outside this ridiculous cliché, it also damages an industry which has been struggling to see the creative and commercial opportunities of engaging with all of what we are. It is my belief that intersectional feminism offers an amazing creative opportunity for the fashion industry. As design students, you are learning to be problem solvers. But it's not people who are the problem to be solved, but our struggles to find clothing that fits our bodies, the time and place we live in, and express our identities in imaginative and expansive ways. To make sure our garments are produced in ways which considers the humanity of those who make our clothes. So as designers, our most important tasks are to listen, to observe, to ask questions. Fashion is the most human-centred of all the design disciplines, but for too long it has not been humane. There are an increasing number of examples of other voices making themselves heard and their influence felt in the industry, with vastly positive results. British Vogue, under the editorship of Edward Enninful, has been resurrected from an irrelevant, elitist and antiquated magazine, that is my opinion by the way, to a publication which has something meaningful to say about the world. I encourage you to do the same.